The film begins 5,000 years ago when we see a brutal king rule. Once this city was free, but now this cruel king has made the people of this city his slaves. This king is digging up the land of all the people of this city. In fact, he was looking for an ingredient that could give him magical powers. As a result, he would become more powerful than ever, able to rule not only this city but the entire world. Originally, this material was called eternium. With this, he will create a crown with which he will be able to gain the powers of a superhero within himself. Here, as usual, workers are digging, and in the process, one of the workers finds the stone, eternium, which the cruel king gets. He soon creates his own crown, which he wears to gain great powers. Meanwhile, we see a little boy facing off against the cruel king. This convinces the villagers that we must avoid this injustice, we must not bow down to it. But when the cruel king came to know that he was against me, he ordered him to be killed. While he is being killed, the boy suddenly disappears and appears in a place where many gods are sitting. These 6 gods tell this boy that you have courage, and he likes it very much. So we are going to give you such a power that if you say the word, Shazam, all our power will flow into you. And you will become so strong that you can easily defeat that cruel king. So does this little guy, he says, Shazam, and he becomes very powerful. He immediately reaches the king's palace where he wears his evil crown to gain much power. But this kid, who became very powerful after saying Shazam, goes there and wreaks havoc and starts killing everyone. He gets angry and destroys the whole city along with the cruel king. From here, the story goes 5,000 years later and we see the present day. This time, we are shown the same city where a gang has completely taken over the city. They are doing injustice to the people, stealing and completely controlling this city. In fact, the only objective of this gang is to find that crown. That means they are looking for the crown that the cruel king made 5,000 years ago. It's over, but his crown is still buried somewhere in this city. Now we see a girl named Adriana, who is also looking for this crown. Being an archaeologist, this girl is good at finding ancient things. They are the people who dig the earth and they have a lot of information about a lot of things in the story. Later, this girl, Adriana, goes to a cave where after many attempts she finds the crown. Adriana and her friends are happy about it. We learn that one of her friends is named Ishmael. He is involved with the same gang that has taken over the entire city. Ishmael then killed a friend who had accompanied him and summoned other members of his gang to the same cave. Now people point guns at her and ask Adriana to give them that crown. Now, this girl is looking down and has some words written on her. Shazam comes out of his mouth when he recites. As soon as this word is uttered, Black Adam appears there and begins to finish off all the thugs who come there. He hit them so hard that no one could survive. Ismail, who was involved with the thugs, pretended to die there. That's why his life is saved here because Adriana revives Black Adam. He wakes her up again, so she doesn't tell him anything. Now, Black Adam was there and the rest of the gang came and attacked him with a special weapon. This weapon is made of the same material, eternium. The crown was also made with your help. When Black Adam is hit by this missile, he really feels pain. Black Adam takes the life of the thug who killed him, but is knocked unconscious by that rocket or that little missile. Here, we learn that eternium is an element that is the weakness of Black Adam. And with this material, you can finish Black Adam. Seeing this, Adriana gets worried and takes Black Adam to her house. When Black Adam arrives, he meets Adriana's son here. This boy tells Black Adam that you have been locked in that cave for 5,000 years. Now that our city is being enslaved, the gang won't let us live, so you are our savior. You will save our city from that gang. Black Adam doesn't care here. He says that 5,000 years ago, this was my city. Now everything has changed here, so it is not my responsibility to save the city. I have nothing to do with the city and its people. Saying this, he came out of the house and went around the city looking at the city. Following this, we see a female lead tasked with stopping superheroes and supervillains from coming into this world. We must maintain such a situation in the world that the common man does not suffer and our land is not threatened. He's talking to a superhero here, Hawkman. He says that Black Adam is now back and if he is not stopped, he can be destroyed like before. If he gets mad and angry, it will be almost impossible to stop him. Hawkman agrees and gathers his team, which includes many other superheroes. They all go out to catch Black Adam. On the other hand, some gang members go to Adriana's house as they know that she still has the crown. So they went to take the crown. As they are about to attack, Adrian's family, Black Adam, is there to protect them and kill the gang members again. He is still fighting with the rest. At the same time, the Hawkman team arrives and they all start fighting with Black Adam. But Black Adam was still dominant among them. Gangsters and the Justice Society team couldn't do anything about it, and eventually, Black Adam left. The Justice Society team, consisting of Hawkman, approaches Adriana and asks for help in capturing her. But Adriana says, "Where were you when we were oppressed? I've never seen you before. There is only Black Adam, who saved us, and when I was dying, he saved me. The people of the Justice Society say that the person you are protecting is very dangerous. Even 5,000 years ago, it completely destroyed our city." Finally, they convinced Adriana, and that's why Adriana takes them all to Black Adam, so they can all sit down and talk to each other. So that they can understand each other and end their fighting. Then, on the other hand, Adriana's partner, Ishmael, enters her room. So that he can find the crown and use it for himself. When he doesn't get the crown, he takes Adriana's son with him in anger. Here, very cleverly, her son calls his mother, Adriana, and tells her all about the abduction. Ishmael kidnapped me. He becomes alarmed upon hearing this and seeks help from the Justice Society and Black Adam. "Help me to bring back my son," and they both agree and start searching for their son together. Here, Hawkman captures 2 men from that gang. Find out where Ishmael is after killing them. Ishmael kept his son in a secret place in the desert. And when Black Adam and the Justice Society arrive, they find that Ishmael is pointing a gun at his son. Here Ishmael tells a secret that I am the leader of the gang which is wreaking havoc in the whole city and all these goons to work for me. So he asks Adriana to give him the crown if he wants to save his son's life. The distraught mother gives him the crown to save her son's life, but nevertheless, he shoots the boy. When Black Adam sees this, he flies in at high speed, stands in front of him, and saves the boy's life. Here Ishmael is completely destroyed by lightning. Here Black Adam also meets Hawkman and tells him a very big secret. It says that the boy who raised his voice against the cruel king 5,000 years ago is not me, but my son. And when the cruel king was killing my son, he disappeared from there. Seeing this, the cruel king was very angry because he could not find my son. Then he caught me and my family and beat me up brutally. They beat us a lot because nobody treats animals like that. There they killed my wife and I was dying. So my son came back to me who had many powers and gave me all his powers. Now all power has come to me. While we were talking, the cruel king's men attacked us again. I was saved there because I had a lot of power, but my son died before my eyes. Seeing the death of my son, I became enraged and killed the cruel king and his subjects. But those powers were not under my control, I could not control them. Soon, the entire city was destroyed due to my lack of will. Because I did this, the gods who gave my son the power, and now I have that power, were angry. Because I abused my power and did not withhold my power. So they imprisoned me in that cave and I stayed in that cave for 1,000 years. When Adriana came up and took the name, I came alive again. Here, Black Adam is still very sorry that he caused and continues to cause a lot of destruction. Many people were killed. He tells Hawkman that he wants to release and end my power so no one gets hurt as a result of me. After this, Black Adam says the word Shazam, after which he returns to his normal form. This means that he becomes a normal human with no superpowers at the moment. He cannot turn back into Black Adam until he says Shazam again. That's why he asked you to do something with me so that I can't say this anymore. Eventually, Black Adam falls into the water and has a device placed in his mouth to prevent him from speaking. It is a small prison where Black Adam is locked up. On the other hand, we are shown Ishmael, who died and is now in hell. Ishmael knew from the beginning that if he wanted to wield the power of that crown, he would have to hold it in his hands. And at the same time, whoever kills him dies and comes to hell. And you can meet the demons of hell here, with whom you can gain power. Ishmael knew all this from the beginning. That's why he provoked Black Adam, that while I was killing Adriana's son, Black Adam would come and save him while he killed me. He also had the crown in his hand. He knew all this from the beginning and everything was going according to his plan. Here, demons from hell meet Ishmael and give him their powers. It was not like before, it has become Sabbac. He comes to this world with this power and starts destroying everywhere. When the Justice Society finds out, they confront him to challenge him. There are many fights, but Sabbac is very strong. Even if they were all together, they couldn't stop him. Another member of the Justice Society team named Dr. Fate comes in many forms. Using various powers he tries to kill Sabbac, but still can't. Soon, they realize that no one but Black Adam can defeat Sabbac. That's why he starts talking to Black Adam here via telepathy. She tells him that we need her help, and from here they help her a lot to free herself. Head out there and finish off some soldiers there. He comes out of the water, and when he comes out he says, Shazam, so he gets the power of Black Adam. And without wasting time, start going to Sabbac. On the other hand, the people of the Justice Society continue to fight Sabbac. And at this time, one of his teammates, Dr. Destiny, ends there. The Hawkmen are also fighting Sabbac, but their efforts are not very successful. But luckily, Black Adam gets there at the same time. Now there's a lot of fighting going on between Black Adam and Sabbac. It was a tough fight, but as time went on it seemed that only Black Adam could defeat Sabbac. Moments later, Black Adam grabs Sabbac's head and cuts it in two. After demolishing it completely, he finally finished Sabbac. Because of this, Sabbac dies and everything becomes peaceful and begins to prosper. The townspeople begin to regard Black Adam as their savior. They all admit that Black Adam saved them and their town. Next, we see the same woman who was part of the Justice Society's team to stop Black Adam. He tells Black Adam, "Hear that it's okay, do what you want, don't leave this town. Be the savior of the people of this city, take care of them, be the guardian, I don't care, but don't leave the city. Because if you leave the city, it will not be good for you." Here Black Adam sits and looks at him and says that no one can order me around. And whenever he wants to do something, he will do it himself. Then the lady said, "Yes, perhaps you are right, nothing can stop you from living in this world. But I know one who is not of our world." Black Adam gets angry and smashes the screen the woman was speaking on. The curtain breaks and smoke is everywhere. Meanwhile, Superman comes out of the smoke. He tells Black Adam that we should always sit down and talk. As soon as Superman says this, the story of this movie ends here.